Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a channeler and I'm here for a daily dose of hope. And it's Daily Dose of Hope day 127. So we've been coming on almost every day to give a daily dose of hope, which is something that I was guided to do because the energies on our planet are starting to increase. And as they increase, it brings more light to the planet. And as more light is brought to the planet, things start to get wacky and wackier and wackier because everything that was hidden starts to get revealed. And it's just kind of like stirring the pot, and everything just starts to come out for us to see it and to understand it and to transmute it. So yeah, that's what's going on. So nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. And what this is, it's usually in three parts: a bit of a talk, a bit of a channeling, and a bit of a pocket of peace, which is a guided meditation. So yeah, um, I'm hoping the audio is working today. My computer. So today it was a heat wave here. It was 90. How much was it? 98 degrees, and it was by Fahrenheit. It was at 37 degrees. Hey, greetings, Michael. So it's very hot. My computer's feeling. I was feeling it up until like about 30, 40 minutes ago. Oh, audio's perfect. Thanks, Michael. Just like way too hot. It was like I went to Dubai a few years ago, and it was like Dubai in the middle of summer. I mean, just insane. Like in Dubai, it's forbidden for people to work in the afternoon. You're not allowed to work outside, and if someone forces you to, you can be like, charged for it, put in prison for it because it's so dangerous. Today was one of those days. Like it was like probably wasn't a good idea to go out. um, but yes. What's the John Lennon song? Nobody told me there'd be days like this. Yeah. So so what I wanted to talk about was not necessarily the heat wave, though. I wanted to talk a little bit about. So I was watching a video yesterday. This really amazing guy that does a lot of research on tartaria and all that kind of stuff. His name is Autodidactic, and I think he's from Australia, and he puts out these amazing videos where he just does a lot of research on different things and talks about it. And his video yesterday was about Japan, and it just started reminding me of Japan. um, you see, in Japan, if you there are still some so let me preface this that um, I'll just start in this way. So near my house, my city was once a part of Osaka City, but it isn't anymore. They're two separate cities now. But at that time, I forget the date again. I'm not sure. Late 1800s, early 1900s, there was a big expo. World Expo, and supposedly people from all over the world came to Japan to experience Japanese culture, and it was amazing. And there are most of the buildings were destroyed, but there are a few buildings that are left over. And fortunately, close to my house, not that close, but close enough that I go often, there's a park that was built, and around this park, some of the buildings are still there. And so after learning about all this stuff, I would go there and channel around these buildings to send around this park. Some of the buildings are still there. And so after learning about all this stuff, I would go there and channel around these buildings to see what I could find. And I'm in contact with a few beings that were a part of a previous civilization, which is very interesting. Now, what this is all about is that the buildings that you see, for example, the building that was built in Japan at that time was amazing, and it was in the Romanesque style, neo-Romanesque style, and it's just beautiful, gorgeous, right? And but at the time, people were riding around, on horses. There were maybe uh, horse and buggies. You just see like horse and buggies around, and then somehow they're able to build this amazing thing with no tools, and they just built it with their hands. And that's the story that we're given. And then if you look at the size of the buildings, look at if you see the pictures of the people, they're like tiny little ants, and these doorways are huge, you know. And if you're able to look at this with an open mind, because I've had this conversation with many people, and I found that it's a very touchy subject. You know, people get really upset if you start talking about this. No, I don't want to know this. I don't stop, go. And that just means, you know, somehow there's something about that. I mean, I guess it's big, right? Because it means that our history is not real. So it's a big thing to kind of swallow. But if you are able to look at it with an open mind and say, with the technology they had at that time, and with the time limit, like usually they say they build these amazing structures in like a year or 2 years, and and so these sort of thing, and then just the size, and then also if you look at the windows, you'll see like that there's, why would anyone build windows that are half submerged underground, you know, just a lot of different things like that. And there are so many of those things that if you add them up, it just says, it seems like impossible that they were able to build those things at that time. And if that's the case, then there's a possibility that there was a previous civilization that we're not told about, and that there was some sort of flood. You know, something happened and everything was wiped out, and then people had to rebuild the civilization, and so they just kind of repurposed all of these old buildings, you know, for, and you'll find the same structures all around the world. So even here in Japan, next buildings, and where the heck did they come from, right? And so I started thinking about this. So in Japan's story, the story of Japan was in what in Japanese they call it. So in my research, that it wasn't necessarily closed off. There was actually a part of the world, but and then all of a sudden, Commodore Perry came over from America, and then all of a sudden, or was it America? I think so. And then he came over and then just opened it up, and he's, you know, open these doors, you know, whatever. It's just story, and then everything opened up, and that opened up the Meiji period of Japan. And the Meiji period in Japan is known for this combination of Western and Eastern styles. And it's a possibility that what was happening was that they were building over these Western the buildings that they couldn't destroy. They were just building over them to make, and the Meiji era architecture is really beautiful. It's, you know, yeah. Um, so that's the idea. And one of the things that you could think about is like the Capitol building, like American White House. There's one of those buildings in pretty much every country all over the world, you know, and yeah, how did that happen? Um, and I always think about this too, is one of the things that you compare the structures from, for example, the White House, for example, that sort of structure, and then you compare that with the structures that we build now. And there's these just block buildings, concrete with the little hammered holes in them, and that's considered like stylish and designer, you know. And it's just like we're living in these boxes, but with no whimsy. But at that time, they had these beautiful things. Like, just think about like the White House, the story about the White House, right? You know, it was built by unskilled labor, right? How did they do that? And without tools, what kind of tools did, you know? So all of these sort of things. So it's like, if you're willing to look at it with an open mind, you'll see, you know. But if it is a big thing to accept that the possibility that your history is not your history. But it is, I think it's something that I think we all need. It's one of those things about this kind of daily dose of hope, is just the light is shining, and things will start to be revealed more and more. And I think one of those things is that our history that we're being taught is a bit different from what our true history is. I think I've touched on this before as well, but last night, just or seeing that video just reminded me of that, because I experience it now when I go to that park and I channel these beings there, and they tell me about their beautiful society, and it's just such this wonderful thing. And there's something about the place, the park, the buildings around there too. They have this aura about them. Now, most of them, you can tell that they were built above a certain point. So, like, you could tell where the old building was, and then the building on top of it, where they kind of modernized it. But it's a very interesting thing, and but maybe it's not something for everyone. Um, hey, Chris from Wales. Hey. So yeah, so Just that. That's why I wanted to talk about that, because it's really an exciting thing for me, and because when I was learning history, I just never did anything for me, but this history kind of resonates. It's like, "Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense." And even, where I'm from in America too, the town that I'm from, and then the next town, there are a lot of structures there that are very interesting. And one thing, when I was a kid, the town that I lived in was more rural, but now it's kind of built over. But when I was a kid, I used to play out in all of these cornfields and the forests, and I would always find these structures. I would find roofs, like just chimneys sticking out of the ground, and I just thought it was amazing. It was before, of course, you'd no cell phones or anything like that. But I would go home and tell my mom, like, "Hey, I found this cool thing." It was like a half submerged house in the middle of the cornfield, and she's like, I don't know, something happened." And but now when I look back, it's like, oh, it's gone now. It's all gone. Um, anyway, it's kind of like an exciting thing. It's kind of like an Indiana Jones sort of thing. You kind of Anyway, but what I want the way I want to bring this back to the daily dose of hope, though, is that what I've come to learn about this is that that was an advanced civilization, where uh, well, as humans, we came to this advanced place. It was like a higher dimensional civilization, but it was an experiment, and it wasn't the whole of society. I think there were different factions, and that part of the society fell. But I think what is coming up, and why this is coming up so much, is because it's kind of a blueprint. We see what happened before, so we understand how to build this again. And so that information has to start being revealed in a more and more. Now it's kind of, I think you would say it's on the fringes, but it's coming closer and closer, I think, to the mass consciousness level. And once it does, like, whew, it's going to be exciting. So, yeah. Um, Yes. I get really excited about this. So anyway, guys, thanks, Chris, and thanks, Michael, for joining in. I'm going to do a channeling, and we'll just see who comes through, and maybe they want to add something to this idea, or if there's anything else they'd like to say. Yeah, here we go. Greetings. We are the Acturians. And we're here to bring you a message of love. And as all of the messages that are brought through this being, it is a message of love, because that is the only message that we could ever bring to all of you on this beautiful planet that is going through this amazing transition, with your beautiful hearts helping this transition so much. You are adding your love. You are the magic ingredient. You are the secret ingredient. Your love, your beautiful pure hearts are the things that are pushing this along, that are helping this along. It's you that are adding the beauty to this story. It is you that are adding the spice to this amazing recipe. You are the ones that are helping this along. And you're so beautiful, and you're so wonderful, and so amazing how you're going through all of this stuff, all of these energies, all of these fluctuations of energies. But you're storming on. You're not stopping. You're going through it. Even though at times you can't see anything, you just keep going through it. You are some of the most powerful beings on the planet, to be able to go through such dense frequencies as you're going through now, and to be able to just keep going, and to wake up every day, and to go through your day, and to go through these frequencies. Nothing can stop you. You are some of the most powerful beings on the planet. Can you imagine how powerful this is, that you came down here and you took the pill of forgetfulness? You came down here as very advanced beings, and you came down here and you forgot everything. And now you're down here experiencing everything all again at once, as if it's the first time. And yet you're trudging through it. You're not letting these things knock you down. It's so beautiful for us to see it. It's like watching, like for you, watching a movie about a hero, an action movie about a hero. Just seeing you go through your everyday lives. It's like watching an epic hero movie, and it's so beautiful for all of us. And what this being was saying, yes, your history is going to be revealed to you. Of course it will. And of course, the history that you've been taught is not the real history. You all know that already, don't you? But this is what's going to be coming more and more online for all of you as well. And once you understand and connect with your true history, then things will start to connect and shift and change, because you will see where you truly come from and your true power. And that is what has been hidden from you, is your true power, your true ability. And so when you witness these things, now, as is being said, they are not necessarily in the mass conscious. They are uploaded there, but it is not the main focus. But once it becomes the main focus, that will be a catalyst to all of you, and it will catalyze those hidden, latent abilities in all of you. Your ability to create, your ability to change, to shift and change the whole universe, to shift and change this whole planet into something of such beauty and grandeur. And that is what is inside of all of you. And that is what these stories are there for. They're coming out again because it is time. It is time for you to know where you come from in order to know where you are going, because you're going someplace amazing, someplace so wonderful. And so, as this being looks at these buildings and sees them as such whimsical beings, such fanciful buildings, what you will create is so much more, even more amazing than all of that. That is nothing compared to what you will create. We are the acturians, and we're very happy to be able to join in and to watch and to give you this message of love. You are so loved and so protected. We are the acturians. Mm. Whew. All right. Yeah. All right. That's good. I like that. So, um, let's see. Yeah. So then let's just go into a pocket of peace. Thanks, Chris, and thanks, Michael. Yeah. Cheers. Um, yeah. Octorians, they haven't come through in a while. I wonder what that's all about. Um, I guess that's what it's all about. So here we go. I've got my bowl here, my Tibetan bowl. It is a bee bowl, and what we're going to do is a pocket of peace. And let's do a pocket of peace to connect with our true history. So all of us, we can start to connect with that. And maybe if it's not a visual connection, maybe we connect with the courage and the grandeur of who we truly are, and not these stories that we're told, by our genealogists and all of these things, but the real story of where we really come from. And the true story is like we're not human, we come from God, we're love. But even on this planet, that our story is so much more amazing. So let's do it. All right, I got my bowl, and this bowl, I'm going to use this to accentuate and to increase the energies. So here we go. So this is to connect with our true power, our true grandeur. And here we go. I'd like you to take a few deep breaths. And when you do, just breathe in this relaxing, loving feeling, and just breathe out all that stuff that you're holding on to that you don't need anymore. So here you go. Hold it a few seconds. Breathe out all that stuff that you don't need. Breathe in all the beauty and love. Hold it for a few seconds. And just let out all that stuff that you don't need. One more time. All right. So let's do it. This is a pocket of peace here on July 5th, 2024 at 8:30 at night here in Japan. And we're going to connect with our true selves. So I'd like you guys to imagine that you're surrounded by the mist of unconditional love. It surrounds you, it caresses you, it's like a warm blanket. And it just makes you understand that you are loved and you're perfect exactly as you are. There's nowhere that you need to go. There's nothing that you have to do or to say, to worry about, to regret. You're perfect. Good. All right. Yeah. Now let's expand that energy out into your room, into your country. All right. And now into the whole world. All right. So this energy of unconditional love now is just being felt all over the whole world. Everyone's just stopping what they're doing and saying, I feel really good all of a sudden. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I'm home, even though I'm not even home. I just feel like I'm loved and protected and I'm okay exactly as I am. This feels really good. I haven't felt this way in a while. It's so good. Just a and this warm hug goes through extra spice to this energy. And this is the spice of. Imagine your heart energy is just connecting. Just feel this connection with something that you truly are. And it's just this expansive energy. It just expands out. And you think, my goodness, look how big I am. Look how big I am. I'm bigger than the earth. And this is your grandeur. And then you just keep expanding. You're expanding out throughout the whole universe. You are immense. You are so large and beautiful, just filled with light. And this is your true grandeur. Not only are you made of love and in love and making love, but your story here on the earth is so much more amazing than you could ever imagine. You are superheroes here, and your history will prove that as well. And you are connected with this amazing grandeur, this grandeur of light, this ancient civilization that created such beautiful things. And you will create even more beautiful things. And you will do it in this light, in this love, in this peace, in this feeling of unconditional love, because that is where you are the most powerful. When you're in between both the polarities, you're not on the negative side or the positive side. You're just looking at everything and saying, it's all good, it's all beautiful. And I'm here to bring more love and more spice, this spice of love to this story. And the more love you bring to the story, you start to shift and change it into a story that is so wonderful, a story in which everyone wins, everyone gets love, everyone gets peace, because that is the truth. That is what's real. And so you're creating that now. You're just connecting with that energy where everyone is love and everyone is peace and everyone's winning. No one loses in this world. This is not the way. It is not a polarized world. It is one of unconditional love, which is neutrality in the middle. Neutrality doesn't mean that you don't feel love. Neutrality means an intense, overwhelming feeling of unconditional love for both sides, for everything. And with that love, you start to shift and change it into the world that you want to see. All right, so that is Pocket of Peace for July 5th, 2024. Remember, this Pocket of Peace is for you. It's yours. You take it with you wherever you go if you want to. And you can draw it down from the mass consciousness or however you want to do it. You can make it yourself. But yeah, so today is about connecting with your true grandeur. You are so much more amazing than you could ever imagine. So, all right, guys. So thank you very much for joining into this Pocket of Peace today. And Chris, it was nice to meet you. And Michael, thanks for joining in as well. And again, thank you as well, because by giving peace or by giving hope, I get hope back as well. So thank you for giving me hope. Ciao, and hopefully I'll see you all. I will see all of you tomorrow. Michael, I'll definitely see you tomorrow. We have our monthly live channeling tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Japan Standard Time. If you're interested, the details are below. And and Chris, you have a lovely day as well. So ciao, everyone. See you tomorrow.